Research shows that stress is more common when an event is unpredictable, outside of one's control, novel, or can be judged openly by others. For 911 telecommunicators, this sounds like a job description. 911 telecommunicators cannot predict what may happen in the next call that they answer. Telecommunicators can try to restore a sense of control to the scene, but ultimately have limited control, especially when dealing with an overly distressed or non-responsive caller. With the Freedom of Information Act, an emphasis on quality assurance, the performance of 911 telecommunicators is on display and can be targeted for inquiry or scrutiny. Job demands are further complicated by factors such as mandatory overtime, shift work schedules, lengthy shifts, relational aggression among overly stressed workers, and poor understanding and appreciation among the general public as to the demands and challenges of work within 911.
The most stressful aspects of the work are mostly not having a chance to, I would say not having a chance to stand up and take a break after the bad call comes in. A lot of us, we cope with the idea that you have to, once that bad call does come in, and you're done with it and you've finished with it and stuff like that, a lot of us don't get to just get up and walk around, that sort of thing. They have to actually be ready for the next call immediately. And sometimes that next call is another bad call. So that can make it pretty stressful.
You're dealing with someone at their worst moment. It could be of their day or it could be of their life. You're dealing with that, but you're also dealing with what the officers are doing, what the firefighters are doing, and you disconnect from that and you're onto someone else's. So it's a lot. It's a lot of multitasking, and it's multitasking in a lot of stressful situations.
Especially calls that hit close to home. As a mom, getting a call about a kid is always hard. Definitely the hours are harder.
We've had plenty of calls where we disconnect with the caller, we've dispatched, we did everything we're supposed to, but you're sitting there shaking, and so one of our partners will run over and hit the person's 911, turn it off so they can get like a momentary just breath before you go right back into it. Honestly, one of my biggest stress reliefs that I've always done is working out. Whenever I get done here, I go into our gym, spend an hour in there, and it just kind of gives me an hour to myself. My music, don't have to talk to anyone, and I kind of focus on that. But then I've got a really good group of friends that work here, including their spouses, and it's people who understand the job, so you can talk to them about it, they understand it, they know what you're going through, they know how you're feeling. And then I also have friends who have no clue what happens in here, and they're kind of my little shining light, because you deal with so much negative, and then you just have these sweethearts who just have no idea what's actually happening, and they bring me back down to a calming level.
If I need to, I'll step away. We're all pretty familiar with it, that like when someone goes through a rough call, if they don't ask to step away, we're like, do you need to step away? Do you need a moment? Like, take a moment, you're good, we got you. And everyone's very good about that with each other. I like to run, so a lot of times just kind of getting the blood going and not thinking, or even sometimes just keeping going when it's busy and flowing right into something else that's going to kind of keep your attention and know you need to focus on helps.
My faith life is very important to me, and that helps me a lot through bad calls, especially if I'm on the phone with somebody, and once I hang up with them, I'm praying for them.
Well, you kind of always try to leave it here, which I feel like if you are meant for this profession, it's hard to do anyways because you care. I personally come from a law enforcement background. My father just retired after 34 years in July. My mom, my aunt, and my uncle were all dispatchers. My grandfather was an officer, so it kind of runs in the family. So I feel like I have that, like just being at home, you kind of think about that, where I could do this, I've got this.
Yeah, I try to unwind when I get home from work. I try to unwind for about an hour or so, whether that's just watching an hour of TV, try to find something funny again to laugh. That helps so much. Play with my kids. If I can squeeze in a little bit of video game time, and I'll go for that too. But just the standard, try to basically unwind. Take my dog for a walk, just get out, clear my head, and after an hour of unwinding or so, then there's no other problem. I also don't try to bring my work home with me anyways. I just sort of keep it here. You know, the extent of it goes, my wife will ask me, "How was your day at work?" It was fine. This culture certainly moved away from standard landlines and stuff. And I mean, I don't even know how often we take a landline call anymore. Everything's cell phones nowadays. And if we can get a text from somebody who sees something, you know, but can't talk on the phone to us because just being on the phone and hearing like if the suspect is too close and they hear them talking, you know, then we want all information in any avenue we can get it. So there's a potential abuse for the system, but I don't think that outweighs the potential for good in the system.
It's so much more than what the media puts out, because they just put out the negative, and I constantly, especially in my department, I see so much of the positive and the amazing people that we work with. It's a very stressful job, and we work with such amazing people. Our officers are so supportive of us in here. It's just, a lot of people think, oh, there's not actually a lot that happens in DeKalb, but there's days I leave here and it's just like a haze. Like, I can't believe everything that just happened. And I kind of like have to sit there in my car and take a moment to bring myself back down and realize, like, kind of go through each call. I'm like, okay, that was handled right, that was handled right.
That's not an easy job. And I think it's funny how many policemen and firefighters who are actually going to these calls that we send them to will come in here and say, "I couldn't do your job." And that to me is mind-blowing, because they're the ones who are actually like, you know, I don't go into these people's apartments, or I'm not in the trenches, you know. I mean, as much as I'm on the phone with these people in the worst moments of their lives, and I'm talking to them and helping them through this worst moment in their life. I mean, I understand that I'm the first of the first responders, but it's funny to me how many, I'll have fire chiefs come in here and say, "I couldn't do this. I couldn't do your job." And this is the fire chief who's going to be scene commander at like a big incident, you know?
We are not mind readers. We don't have a little crystal ball that tells us where people are, or what's going on, or, you know, we're not magic. Like, we need you to help us in order to help you. That's pretty much the gist of it. Like, we take a call, you need to know where you are. You need to, you know, when we're asking you questions, we're not asking you questions just because. We're asking you because we need to know that information.